James, Lieutenant Lenick with the Billings Police Department. So I'm aware of the incident. I reviewed it. Honestly, I have no excuse for that type of behavior, or for those type of decision making going on with that type of incident. It's not something we condone. Obviously, we know you need to have reasonable suspicion to detain somebody or identify them.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's James Freeman, and I've got an update on this arrest in Billings, Montana. I got a phone call from the lieutenant apologizing for the arrest. I'm going to show the arrest again here for people who haven't seen it to make sure you've got the full story. If you've already seen it and you want to skip to the update, there will be time-stamped chapters in the video so that you can skip to the part that you want. On July 4th, 2024, Officer Fonte of the Billings, Montana Police Department arrested Ron Phillips for recording outside of a government building. Officer Fonte approached Ron, told him he had to give him his ID, and then arrested him.
Alright, so now the cops being called on you for filming here. What are you doing?
Waiting for an Uber?
Waiting for an Uber.
Yeah, I figured this would be the safest place.
Okay,
And
I need an ID.
I'm exercising my First Amendment right.
I need an ID.
What crime have I committed?
You're the subject of a call from this detention facility, so I need an ID.
I just told you I'm exercising my First Amendment right.
I'm telling you, if you don't give me an ID, I'm going to take you to jail for obstructing a peace officer. So,
But what crime have I committed?
by not giving me your ID, you're committing the crime of obstructing a peace officer.
But I'm asking for my Fourth Amendment protection. Searches and seizures of my persons and property.
Correct. If you commit a crime, then I have the right to seize you.
Yeah, so what crime have I committed?
Obstructing a peace officer. Right now, you're committing that crime.
No, there has to be an underlying thing that you're
I'm
investigating.
investigating you. They called me.
Okay, but what crime am I committing?
Obstructing a peace officer. So are you going to give me your ID? Or
So had they not called you, how would I be obstructing a peace officer? Okay, so I haven't committed a crime.
You are committing a crime right now.
I will take this right to jail.
Okay, so here's the deal. I'm going to tell you real quick.
I'm waiting for an Uber. Like I said, I'm
Okay.
exercising my First Amendment right.
Right now, you're being detained. You're not free to go.
What reasonable articulate suspicion do you have that I'm committing a crime?
Right now, you're committing a crime of obstructing a peace officer. I already told you that. So here's.
But you don't have a right to come up and just identify me.
Yes, I do. When you're the subject of a call, I do. Were you out on the North 28th house? Yeah. No, not the staff.
I'm waiting for my Uber.
So he's been acting like this all day.
I'm waiting for my Uber, and I would like to do it in a safe spot.
This is your last chance to give me your name.
I'm going to go to jail, man, because this is my first...
Hand my back. Under.
Can I take my backpack off?
Pull away. You're going to have a huge problem. Put your hands. Back your hands together.
Do not stop my recording. You violated my rights.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, I've done nothing wrong.
Obstructing a peace officer. You refuse to provide your name or date of birth. That is a crime. Okay.
I'm protecting the Fourth Amendment protection. I haven't committed a crime. You can't just come up and
Do you have any weapons on you?
So I called the police department and I spoke to a Sergeant Peterson, hoping that he would understand and comprehend this. Is it standard to arrest somebody simply for failing to ID?
Yeah, if we're there for a lawful reason, they have to provide their name and date of birth.
If you're there for a lawful reason?
Yep.
If someone hasn't committed a crime or isn't suspected of committing a crime, are they required to give ID?
It depends on the circumstances.
It was the next day that Lieutenant Lenick called me back. I was asleep. It was 7 in the morning when he called me back, turned on a phone to start recording, and recorded this phone conversation with Lieutenant Lenick. Hello.
Hi, is this James?
Yeah.
James, Lieutenant Lenick with the Billings Police Department. I am calling you because Sergeant Peterson passed on your information to me this morning, and I'm returning your phone call. What can I do for you, sir?
I was just wondering if you guys were going to continue to arrest people for refusing to ID. He had told me that that people are required to ID when they aren't suspected of a crime. Is that correct?
No, that is not correct. So I'm assuming this is stemming from Officer Fonte's arrest on July 4th of Mr. whatever his name is. I'm sorry, Phillips, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So I'm aware of the incident. I got made aware of it on Monday when I got into the office. So I reviewed it. In all honesty, I have no excuse for that type of behavior, or for those type of decision making going on with that type of incident. It's not something we condone. Obviously, we know you need to have reasonable suspicion to detain somebody or identify them, and then probable cause to make an arrest. not identifying yourself when you haven't committed a crime and you're simply videotaping in front of a public sidewalk is not a crime, and it doesn't constitute that type of identification or arrest. So I reviewed everything. I've already met with the city attorney's office. I requested that they review the case and the charges. We did an internal complaint on the officers, filed it with the Office of Professional Standards. My office issued mandatory constitutional law training that focuses specifically on the First Amendment department-wide. That went out yesterday afternoon to make sure that we're clearing up any questions or misunderstandings on that type of law. Our guys should already know that, but obviously we need to revisit it. So I'm trying to work quickly to get ahead of it and get everything cleaned up and get everybody's questions answered and make sure that everybody's on the same page and they understand what constitutes reasonable suspicion and probable cause, so that we don't have this issue anymore.
Excellent. Great. That's
where we stand right now. I'm waiting to hear from the results on the Office of Professional Standards, and I'm waiting to hear from the city attorney's office on their take on it. But I would be kind of hard pressed to think that they have a different understanding of the law than I do. I mean, that's how I understand it. So I'm going to assume that they're going to kind of fall in line with that shouldn't have happened, and we need to fix it and take some accountability for it and get it cleared up.
Awesome. I appreciate it. That was all I was looking for. I was a little upset when the sergeant kind of gaslighted me and told me he doesn't know, and I told him when I spoke to him, look, man, we all make mistakes, but I do it all the time. Just ask my wife.
We're human, right? And I get it. Yeah, things happen, but no, we don't. I watched the video, and I don't know. All I can do is just kind of sit there and awe, and now all I can do is go back and try to get it cleaned up and fixed.
All right, I appreciate it. I will. I'll get an update published, and I appreciate you addressing it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. If you got any other questions, let me know. Happy to clear them up for you.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, thanks, man.
Bye. But at the exact moments that Lieutenant Lenick was on the phone with me assuring me that he would fix the issue and get First Amendment training for the department, someone at the department was hiding or deleting or removing comments from posts on the department's Facebook page because the comments and the posts were critical of the police department. There were somewhere between 200 and 300 comments hidden by the department on posts that were made by the department on July 17th and July 18th. The truth is that over the last few decades, government in the U.S. has been able to get away with silencing their critics by any means necessary, including threats and even force or violence. And with this new age of social media, things are changing, the tables are turning, and we're able to publish and show beyond reasonable doubt that our governments here in the United States, not just the federal government, but even more so, our local governments are doing exactly what we trash talk places like Russia and North Korea and China for doing. They are literally doing the same thing, but they've had such a powerful handle on controlling the narrative for so many decades that now when people like myself criticize them, the general population is so brainwashed into believing that we have the greatest government in the world that they're almost, they're angry that anyone would dare to criticize their government. And most of these people, especially up in Montana, are people who will wave their flags and claim to be freedom-loving people who hate big government. But the second you criticize the muscle behind big government, the police, they lose their collective minds.